You have it memorized almost perfectly now. You miss bits and pieces now and then, but that's fine. You focus on which pieces you missed so that you can remember next time. That's great. And then you are already trying it in front of people, which is super great. Distractions, perfect.
And this week and next, I'm gonna do it at least with, I'm thinking at least with 2-3 different people more, to keep practicing with live with people and people who are kind of my target audience, in a way, so that I can get even more feedback from them.
Okay.
Also, one thing I did, I streamlined a little bit the thing, because I've been also testing the timing, and a couple of times I went a little bit above the 20 minutes. I think because I included more interactions with the people. So I think I removed one of the interactions, which it was a bit taking too long. And a couple of sentences here and there to try and streamline it a bit. So I think now it's around 19 minutes because I've got 20. I think I cannot go over 20. So.
Okay, so you know that if we were preparing a TED Talk, apart from the limit of 18, but I would be forcing you to stay below 15. But now I say, well, it's your choice. And in fact, you have a lot of stuff to deliver. It's not just something to inspire people. There is also a tool that you need to explain. So it's understandable it might be a bit longer. Okay. You said something that was super interesting. And so that you said that you streamlined it. And that, oh yes, you're trying it in front of other people. So 2 points here, 2 questions, one question, 1 point. I guess that you are, how often do you rehearse it? Once a day?
Once a day, normally in the mornings, yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, because you need to rehearse often, even more often than what you might think enough. So enough is never enough. You really need to do a lot, and you're doing it great.
Yeah, like today I've done it twice, and I guess now will be a third one. Yeah.
Yes, because it really needs to become part of you. And even if you have a month of rehearsing, just rehearsing it 30 times is not enough yet to make it part of you.
Yeah.
It really needs to sink in, soak in. So great, you're doing great. And the thought or like point that I want to raise, you said that you present in front of people and you want to hear their feedback, which is great as long as you don't make that feedback guide you or distract you more than guide you. And swerve you or move you around. Oh, this guy said so I will do this. Oh no, now this guy said so it's your talk, it's not theirs. It's great to receive feedback. It's great to incorporate it the way you consider correct. So really always keep that strength and kind of authority within yourself about your talk. Thank you very much for your input. Thank you very much. But then you do your stuff. You don't do their stuff. Okay, don't let them. This is super important.
100% agree. Yeah, I think you're right. Like we've already gone through the content a lot of the times. I think I'm pretty happy with the content as it is. It's more like if they say, well, this sentence here, it didn't sound good. And I'm like, okay, I can make it different easily. Or there's this point that's not very clear. Maybe I can tweak the sentence or add another sentence to make it clear. But yeah, like I'm not going to be changing the structure or like anything like that. Yeah.
And yes, you use the audience for what they are excellent at, which is being an audience. So you do use their feedback from the perspective of how did they receive it? How did they react to it? This is absolutely they are the best source of information. In fact, this is kind of market testing, right?
Yeah.
They are not able to help you on structure, on ideas, how to say things. They are not doing the editing. They're not doing the directors of the talk. And sometimes people try to be the director and tell you, oh, you should do so, you should do so. Thank you very much. Be the audience, do the audience, and give me that kind of feedback. It's super, super appreciated. Great. Yeah. So yeah, that's the thoughts that come to mind. So now I'll say, let's go through it once.
Yeah.
And you do it in the kind of in the middle of the room, how we did earlier, last time, so that you don't have any point that you any anchor point, or you create your anchor points in the room, in the space that you are, because you are occupying the space. And so you create your anchor points the way you want. That could be where the screen is, or where if there are two screens. And remember, we discussed that idea of doing different positions, of being in different positions for different moments of the talk. I don't know if you incorporated that or not.
Yes, I've tried a little bit, yes.
Okay, so if you do it, let's see how it goes. So
yeah, I don't have a lot of space here, but yes.
Yeah, of course, you play it small, but then you will be able to move around wider depending on the size of the stage. Okay, so off you go when you want.
Okay. Are you not fed up with all of these talks about net zero and climate change between yesterday and today? Why don't we shift gears and talk about something cool like Ferraris? So there's this guy who loves sports cars and polluting exhausts. A very climate-friendly guy, right? He was studying at uni and living a pretty normal life. He would drive everywhere in his petrol car with a very loud free exhaust. His goals and aspirations in life: having a more expensive and polluting car each decade until retiring with a Ferrari, and not an electric one. And I'm curious to ask you at this point, can you raise your hand if you think this guy is somehow likely to help inspire other people take climate action and with whom you would like to engage? Okay, that's very interesting. Hold on to that for now. Whilst at uni, he had heard about climate change, of course, but it had nothing to do with him. You know, all of those numbers and images of polar bears were way too abstract and far away for him. But our guy had a friend from an African country who one day invited him there. When our guy arrived, he saw a totally different reality. People living in poverty, pollution everywhere, lack of opportunities, not even a McDonald's. And our guy was surprised when locals treated him like family from day one, and they started sharing their challenges with him. He learned that people in the area were struggling to get water, and they had to go further and further away to find it. Life was hard. After a couple of months, our guy went to live in a country in Europe, and since he had been moved by the social challenges he had seen, he started volunteering with a charity. And he started running events with university professors and PhD students around different global issues. One of the talks was about renewable energy and how it is crucial to tackle climate change. Our guy was very inspired by the speaker and started surrounding himself with more people who were interested in sustainability. And were interested in sustainability. After a couple of months, he felt he needed to do his bit for the planet. At that point, he started looking for ideas to live more sustainably. And he started taking actions like getting a reusable water bottle or eating less meat. After a couple of years, he even decided to sell his car. Yes, the one with the loud and polluting exhaust. He didn't feel it was aligned with his values anymore. 8 years had passed since his trip to the African country. He had changed his lifestyle a lot, but he realized that everything around him remained the same. And he came to the realization that he needed to collaborate more with others. At that point, he created a community to bring people together who also wanted to create positive impact in the world. He also became very active on social media to try and inspire more people to take climate action. And you wouldn't believe this, but to his surprise, he was invited to give a talk at a pretty cool sustainability event. You may have heard of it. The name is Innovation Zero. That guy who loved polluting exhausts and Ferraris is right here, talking to you right now. That guy, in case anybody's a bit lost, it's me. And I'm sure many of you saw it coming. Now let's go back to that question I asked you earlier. Can you raise your hand if you think this guy is somehow likely to help inspire more people take climate action and with whom you would like to engage? Okay, that's quite a different response now. And let me ask you another question. Can you raise your hand if you think you would have come here today to Innovation Zero if you had never taken any climate action before, regardless of how big or small? Okay, pretty much no one, right? That's because to take climate action, we need to go through different stages first. So let me introduce you to the climate funnel, a framework with different stages to communicate more effectively and intentionally about climate change and inspire more people to take action. And I get really excited at this point. Now let's go back to my own story and go through the climate funnel together. When I was at uni, just caring about Ferraris and polluting exhausts, I was outside the funnel, very unaware of climate change, even if I had heard about it. When I went to Africa, I became aware at a personal level and I entered the funnel. When I was running events for the charity, I developed the motivation to start taking action. That led me to start taking low impact actions first, like getting a reusable water bottle or eating less meat. After enough of those, I built the mindset to start taking high impact actions. And I created a global platform to connect change makers and became a climate risk facilitator and a content creator to help educate and inspire more people to take climate action. So as you can see, I have moved through the different stages of the climate funnel. I just didn't wake up one day and start taking high impact actions. And hopefully you can also see how you have moved through it too, because you wouldn't be here today at Innovation Zero if you hadn't gone through some of those stages already. Unless your employer forced you to come, of course, but hopefully that's not the case for most of you. So let's have a look at what each stage means. Outside the funnel on the far left here, we've got deniers and unaware people. Deniers or dismissive people not only don't believe the science, but are actively pushing to discredit it. Unaware or disengaged people lack exposure to the issue. Maybe they've heard about climate change, but they know very little about it and how it affects them. Once people become aware at a personal level, they enter the funnel. People who are aware but not motivated typically have doubts and questions, see climate change as a distant issue, or it is simply not high up in their priority list because they're busy. People who are, oh, I missed it there, because they're busy. People who are aware, wait, did I jump one? Because they're busy. People who are motivated but not taking action yet typically lack ideas, resources, or someone who pushes them a little bit. When people build enough motivation, they start taking low impact actions first. Things like getting the reusable water bottle, driving less, or eating less meat. When people take a lot of low impact actions, most of them tend to realize that those are necessary, but not enough, and that we need more high impact actions, the ones taken by people in a coordinated way and focusing on multiplication and systems change. It's important to say at this point that high impact actions are still actions taken by individuals. It's not about sitting back and relax and leaving responsibility to governments and corporates. It's about you and I taking action collectively. Things like joining movements, starting movements, inspiring people to go through the climate funnel, talking to politicians, voting, protesting, making your company truly sustainable. The options are endless. And out of curiosity, can you raise your hand if you feel you are already at this high impact action stage? Okay, that's amazing. I mean, to me, all of you are, because you are here today joining a movement. So, how do we use the climate funnel as a framework? Well, the first step is to recognize where you are in the funnel, which you just kind of did. That will help you understand your own position and also realize that everyone out there is on a different journey. Then, the key idea is to use the climate funnel next time you engage in a conversation. Whether that's with a neighbor, a colleague, or a customer, we want to bring everyone on board. And the way we do that is by focusing on 3 simple steps. First, identify where people are on their journey. Second, adapt your message to meet them where they are. And third, inspire them to move forward in the funnel. We cannot tell someone who has never heard about net zero to stop flying or go vegan. Like, we cannot tell someone who is leading a climate company to just focus on recycling. They can do a lot more than that. Adjusting our message is key. So again, let's start on the far left of the climate funnel. Deniers. Research done by the Yale Program on Climate Change Communication shows that deniers typically represent less than 10% of the population in most countries. What do we do with them? Simple. As climate scientist Katharine Hayhoe recommends, just ignore them and move on. It's almost impossible to change a denier's mind, so it's much better to focus our energy on the remaining 90% of the population instead. Now, for people who are unaware of climate change or how it affects them, one of the best strategies to engage them is not to mention the words climate change, even if it sounds counterintuitive. Research by the Potential Energy Coalition found that the best way to bring people on board with the climate crisis is to talk like a human, avoiding jargon, numbers, and statistics. Don't talk about decarbonization, net zero, anthropogenic. Instead, talk about pollution, overheating, extreme weather. Especially, keep it super local and relevant to the person you're talking to. There's nothing less relatable for someone who's outside the climate funnel than talking about polar bears not having eyes or tropical islands going underwater. Instead, find out more about what matters to them and ask them about it. Is it the river flooding, air pollution, expensive energy? Find out more about what matters to them. That's how you can start bringing them into the funnel. Now, for people who are aware but not motivated, again, try to learn more about them. A key strategy to help people move forward in the funnel is to develop genuine relationships. When people trust you, they listen to you. That's why communities are so important. Try to find out if they have doubts and questions and help them clarify them without bombarding them with figures and stats. If they see climate change as a distant issue, try to show them how it's happening today in the local area without exaggerating. Slowly, help them build motivation by learning about the issues that they care about. Now, for people who are motivated but not taking action yet, they typically say things like, I want to take action, but I don't know where to start. Or, I want to do something, but I feel alone in this battle. Help them by joining forces. Share a few ideas of very easy actions that you can do together. It doesn't matter if they're very low impact action. What matters is that they get started so that they can build the mindset for more actions. And again, try to find out more about them and focus on what matters to them. Is it air pollution? Suggest carpooling to go to work together. Is it biodiversity? Suggest putting some bird food in their garden. Is it food waste? You could do compost together. The idea is to move them from motivation into action. So any action counts. Just keep it super easy for them. Now, for people who are already taking low impact action, the first step is to recognize the value of the actions they are taking. Far too often, I see people in the low impact action stage stop taking action because other people further ahead in the funnel tell them their actions are not making an impact. How sad is that? We want to inspire people to move forward in the funnel, not backwards. So the first step is to recognize the value of the actions they are taking, however big or small. Because what matters is not just the action itself, but the mindset they are building, which eventually can lead to high impact action. Then, after acknowledging them, we can suggest a few ideas of higher impact actions, but try not to go to the extreme so they don't feel overwhelmed. Somebody who just ditched plastic straws is very unlikely to join a climate protest or switch jobs for a climate one. Meet them where they are and inspire them to build to higher impact actions one step at a time. Now, for people who are already taking high impact actions, the biggest challenge I see is that they tend to remain in their echo chambers, talking to people who are also very advanced in the funnel and arguing whether we should call it climate change or climate crisis. If you find yourself talking to somebody who's there, remind them that the highest impact actions we can take are about multiplication and amplification. Things like educating, inspiring, and mobilizing others. Just think about this. According to Fork Ranger, you can make a bigger impact by inspiring two friends to stop eating beef with you rather than going vegan on your own. Use your voice to create good ripples. See, right now, our main problem is that there are too many people outside the climate funnel or in the initial layers, even if we don't get that impression because we live in our little climate bubbles. We need to put our energy into bringing a lot more people into the funnel and inspire them to move through it. Our goal is to make the funnel as wide as possible at the end to create big systems change. What we need is an inverted climate funnel, where lots of people have gone through it and are taking high impact action. So if you just remember one thing from today, this should be it. Use the climate funnel to inspire more people to take climate action by meeting them where they are in their journey. After all, even a guy who loves polluting exhausts could one day help inspire more people to take climate action? Maybe. Thank you very much.
Yes, great, great. So that was, sorry, I can't see the time. Less than 19 minutes, 18 minutes and a half.
Okay,
So, okay.
That's good.
Yeah. Plus the couple of pauses that you did in between, which is not a problem. It can happen, and actually, you just kept cool. So in the first time, you just stopped, got a bit more of concentration,
Yeah.
and then you found the words. And now that the second time, you kind of stumbled, and that's fine. It's not a problem. You don't let that.
Yeah, I
thing.
think it's funny because those two is because it's where I have taken out a sentence. So then my mind goes with the previous one, and then I get a little bit confused. So I just need to practice the whole new
Yeah.
that two part where I've taken out that sentence to stop the previous connection that I had.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why, yeah, we need to know it all by heart.
Yeah.
To have it ready a long time earlier. But that's fine. And yeah, I think my point was, don't worry if you're not perfect. As long as you are clear. So if you stop, you stop. And you don't think of the fact that you have stopped. You just think, okay, what next?
Yeah.
And then you start going again. But we'll talk about this next time. So there is two things that still I don't feel comfortable with. When you say lack, there is something is missing, I always consistently hear like.
Yeah.
And it might be me, it might be my limitation, but it destroys the meaning.
Yeah.
Because it's exactly the opposite. It's almost exactly the opposite. And it's also why liking. And then I read, oh no, that was lack. So try to focus on getting the right pronunciation on that.
Okay.
Because it's recurring. Every time you say lack exposure, I hear like exposure. And I repeat, it might be me, but because I'm not native, but there might be other people who are not native who have the same problem.
Yeah.
Native speakers, I mean.
Definitely, yeah. No, I'll try to enunciate better there. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And the other one is in the content, when you say this guy does something or is what you said, yeah. When you point to yourself, do you think that this guy is able to do things or to do something good?
In the question when I asked them, or
yes, at the end of the of the stories.
At the end of the stories. So when I repeated again the same question.
No. At the end of the story, you ask them again. Exactly, you ask them again. You think now that this person would be able to change, right? How does it go?
So it's, can you raise your hand if you think this guy is somehow likely to help inspire more people to take climate action, and with whom you would like to engage?
All right. Okay. Okay. So put strong emphasis on this guy. So it's clearly it's about this guy. So look at me, look at my hands. It's this guy. Because when I heard it, it was, I would rather say this guy more than what he was 8 years ago. But it doesn't fit in the sentence because there are too many like subordinates or
Yeah.
explanations after that. So I won't suggest to put more than he was
Okay.
8 years ago.
Yeah. So I'll put a lot more emphasis in me.
Emphasis on that, yeah. And then using the space, you did move. Was it on purpose,
So I
or
moved. So
did
the
you
thing,
forget?
because I visualized the climate funnel goes that way. So I moved a little bit when I changed one, but then I didn't really have a lot of more space to move for the next stage.
Right,
So I
right.
was
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
much
yeah.
static. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Now you didn't have enough room, and so you made one step and you arrived already at the end. On stage, you will have more space, more room.
Yeah.
But what it tells me is that now you didn't plan according to the space that you have. Which I'm not complaining, but I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
saying, watch out when you're on stage. Do plan according to the space you have.
Yeah.
So really get in the space and become kind of one with the space, so that you really understand that you have room from here to here. And so you plan your steps so that there are 5 steps to go from here to
Yeah.
here. And if it was wider, you would make wider steps. And if it was narrower, you would make narrower steps.
Yeah.
So in this sense, I say you didn't plan according to the space that you are now.
Yeah.
Try to do it in the space that you are and say, okay, I can go from here to here. Okay, let's split it in 5 or 6, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? And which means basically just go by feeling. I make small steps. And I feel where I am halfway. If I'm halfway, if I'm not halfway, I will make steps longer. But make sure that you don't start with long steps, because you get to the end quickly. And on stage, it's the same. Much more important, of course, because there you are on the stage and you want to use it. I'm not saying that you want to use all the stage.
Yeah.
You want to use you want to plan how much of the stage you want to use.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to be aware of the space, aware that I will go there, then I will go there, then I will go there.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to be what's the word that we used already? Deliberate about the way you use the space, and you know exactly.
Yeah.
Not exactly because you planned your crosses on the floor, but you know, and you feel the space. You feel how far you should go, and so that you feel it the way you want to feel it. If you want to give an impression that you just stay on the spot, you stay on the spot. But I guess, and it's up to you.
Yeah, no, I think I'd like to move. Like, I think also as I'm talking, like it gives itself pretty good to walk around as well. Not like randomly, but a little bit of movement. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think even when I do the initial stories, I can not do it very, steps, but like I can maybe move myself a bit to one side, because then we would do that back again with the funnel.
Yes, exactly. Because that pattern in stages, I think that you should use it as a pattern that repeats.
Yeah.
That you can relate what you're saying now, or people can relate what you're saying now to what you were saying earlier, because you're in the same spot. And I think there are at least 3 times where you're going to do this.
Yeah, there's 4 actually. So I do the initial stories when they don't know it's me. Then I repeated this summarized version with me, and then the 2 last ones with the funnel.
Right. Yes.
So four times in total.
It's 4 times. Okay. So try it in your room.
Yeah.
Maybe you clear some space. You don't need to be in front of the
camera. Yeah, I've got more space there. Yeah.
And like do it and try to see how it feels, both for you and for the audience.
Yeah.
And how you go back to square one after you finish. right? But we said you have time to do this. It's not that as soon as you get to step 5, you go back to step 1.
Yeah, there's some links in between that I can use.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the link is a link where you interact with people. You always interact, obviously, but it's a place where you interact with people. You can walk around, and you walk around, and you reach again the starting point, something like that.
Yeah.
Try it and see whether. So it's strong as a tool to give people an idea where you are and how you connect different moments in time in the story. What you don't want to make it as a something too thought over, something that kind of go, okay, step, step, okay, step. No, it's not. It's natural. It's a flow. Okay, so see whether you can make it as a flow, and I think you can. It's natural. Okay, what else? Use of space. Well, yeah, we mentioned already. So this is one part of using the space, and you use it as a strong tool to reinforce your message and to connect different moments in the story, or in the message, in the presentation, in the talk. You connect them almost physically, and that's great. Then we said, make sure you know the stage so that you can incorporate the screen in this overall picture that you have, and that's fine. I think movements will be different if you have a screen behind you or if you have 2 screens on the sides.
Yeah.
Right? This is tricky, but I guess you will need to improvise in the sense that you don't plan now if you don't know how the stage will be. But if you arrive one day early, I think it's the second day of the.
Yeah. I'll have a chance to look at it the day before. Yeah.
Okay, so there and then you will see, you will feel, you'll have already this path that you walk, and you see, okay, and so how does it work with the screen? So that might be, if the screen is in the center, you might use just half side of the stage to walk from far from the screen to close to the screen and leave the other side empty somehow.
Yeah.
But definitely you will see.
Yeah, the day before. Yeah, I can do a little bit of planning.
And hopefully there won't be some crazy creative situations, because I mean the screen should be either behind you or slightly on the side, or 2 screens on the sides.
Yeah.
Far apart. There shouldn't be. I can't think of
Yeah.
other.
Also, I asked them about the logistics a bit. They said that yes, it's gonna be recorded and put up on YouTube, which is good. They said they're trying to find someone to facilitate the forum so that they can introduce, like they're working on it. So they expect that, yes, there will be someone in there to sort of introduce me and the other speakers. So I don't need to introduce myself, but it's not like 100%, but it sounds pretty confident. I mean, I guess it's part of it, but I guess probably because this stage might be like the smallest one of all of them. Maybe they're like just like, leaving it to the end in the terms of priorities. It's like, we don't have anybody.
Well, yeah.
Introduce yourself.
But it could be a stage that is as big or small as a living room.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I mean, they said that the capacity is up to 120 people seated and then a few more standing. So it's not like super small, but I guess from all the other ones are like more important for them.
Right. Yeah. So 100 people, that would be probably 10 chairs times 10 rows. So
Yeah.
10 chairs is probably 6-7 meters with some room to walk around. So it's probably 10 meters stage
Yeah.
wall to wall,
Maybe, yeah.
which you don't want to walk wall to wall. So you can plan in your living room,
Yeah.
walking wall to wall, and you know that you have some breathing space on the sides. And of course, interesting. I don't think from what you tell me, I don't think this will be a problem, but you need also to be aware where the lights are.
Yeah.
So careful that if you plan to walk around, you don't end up in a dark area unless you want to use it.
Yeah. To
You
come
can
to the
use it.
light. Yeah.
Yeah. So you start in the dark when you have this dark story and you
Yeah.
come to the light. That I mean, but
Yeah.
definitely you
Yeah.
create this when
No,
you're
no, yeah,
there.
that's a good idea. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you use all you have on stage to create something memorable. And of course, we can catch up the day before. Maybe we do a quick Zoom or WhatsApp
Yeah.
conversation. So you show, if you want, you show me and we discuss if you
Yeah,
need
I can take a
planning
few pictures. Yeah.
or pictures, whatever. Yeah, definitely. I'm very happy to do it.
Oh, thank you.
So yes, steps are deliberate. What to do when freezing, we will actually discuss next time. Actually, we're merging today's session and next week's session, but that's fine because next week's session will be second from last, and we said we want to have rest between second from last and last session. So that was yes, because then we have a dress rehearsal. So the final, let's pretend we are on stage on the 25th. So that's fine. We are getting there.
Yeah, it's getting close.
Yeah. How do you feel?
Great, excited. I feel really excited. It's funny because I feel excited for my talk, but I also feel excited because I'm going to meet a lot of people that I've been waiting to meet for like over a year now. So it's like it's gonna be a big day
Yeah.
for me. Yeah.
Like yeah. Like a big party with
Yeah.
friends. That's good. That's great.
Yeah, no, really, really excited. And also just to share, Leonardo, so they've actually given me a deadline to submit the slides, which
Cool.
is by the 22nd. So my plan was to, I mean, I've got an overview in my head of what I want to do, to share that with you, maybe just briefly now today, to see what you think. And then I can prepare them this week and show them to you next Thursday so that
Exactly.
I've
Yeah.
got a bit of time to implement
Yes.
any tweaks.
Okay. So thank you for bringing this up. Yes, it was planned to talk about slides next time, but if you have already a structure, let's see it. Now today, in 5 minutes, 6 minutes, I will have to leave because I have another call coming and I need to prepare.
That's fine. Yeah.
One
thing before I forget, are you in touch with Ilya Viestika?
No, never heard.
No? I'll put you in touch with him. I'm gonna make a quick note here before I forget. Because let me just write this first. I cannot write and think at the same time.
Unless you say exactly what you're writing.
Yeah, but this is different. So basically, Ilya, he's an amazing guy. He's been one of the founding members of Good Ripple. Like he's been there since day one, and he is the presentation designer. That's how he describes himself. Check him out on LinkedIn. He creates powerful presentations for impact leaders, and I think you two could collaborate a lot together because I think there's a lot of cross collaboration there. Like, you know, the same clients could have your coaching for the talk, and
Yeah,
then
well, synergies. Yeah,
Ilya preparing the slides and you working together with Ilya to provide like a whole package. Because
absolutely. Yeah, fantastic.
he does like all the visuals and stuff, and he's like really great in storytelling and all of that as well. So I think when it
Cool.
comes to like complementing visuals and the talk, I think yeah, could be good.
Yeah. So you have already something from him?
I don't have. Well, I have the template that we use in our Good Ripple events. He did it and it looks pretty good. So I'll probably get started with that template. But my idea is I'm gonna have for the first 5, 6 stories, just one image for all of them. So I'll have a Ferrari for the first thing, then something around Western Sahara for the Africa trip, then something around climate change talks or a charity, then something about the reusable water bottle or something like that, and then something about social media or the platform for change makers. So just one image that's in the background as I'm telling the story, no text whatsoever, just the image to provide that background. And then after that, probably just go straight into the funnel. And for the remaining part, I will just have the funnel up there. But what I'm going to do is like, I'm going to have actually different slides where I highlight one and I sort of make the others a bit more so that people know where we are and see how
where you
we,
stand. Yeah.
and it also helps me in case I forget where we are.
But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, okay. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
what do you think?
agree. It works, yes. Um, as a TED like coach, I try to use the least slides possible, and use only slides that you really need to transfer something or that really reinforce what you say. So definitely the funnel, yes. The 5, 6 slides during the story, you're welcome to use them. I don't see how they add strong value to what you're saying. Yes, when you say using a water bottle, people see the water bottle. Okay, that's fine. That it can work. I mean, it works. I'm not
Yeah, I
saying
guess
that
it's just helping people create that mental space and give
visualize.
them,
Yes.
yeah, visualize this story, I guess. But I
Okay.
mean, it's not needed. Well, I could do it without slides, but just to give them that extra hint, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. And actually thinking of this in the last minute is what if technology fails? So if technology fails, the first slides are irrelevant, but the funnel slide is relevant.
Yeah, I think if it fails when it comes to when you introduce the climate funnel, I'll tell them something like, okay, so the slide's not working, but picture a funnel that's very wide here and very narrow at the end, and I'm
Yes,
gonna walk you through different stages.
exactly. In that case, particularly in that case, make deliberate use of the space, because
Yeah.
then you enact the funnel on stage.
Yeah.
And you start here. We have a big whatever starting point, and this is where the people who are not. So you can really describe what's the name?
Yeah, the funnel.
Panorama,
Yeah.
whatever. Describe the full setting. So here are the bad guys. Here is the funnel, and then you come in and you move, and then so you really enact the funnel if you don't have it.
Yeah.
So actually, what we did of reinforcing the funnel actually helps you also if the slides wouldn't work.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I'll do
Okay, so well, this was like a discovery for me as well.
it. Yeah.
Okay,
Cool.
so I think we are done.
We're
Next
good.
time, slides ready.
Yeah.
we're going to see how to manage stage. So we said already how to use it, but there might be, so we'll talk about lights again, about cameras, about filming, and about what to do when you forget, which you won't need it, but just in case, you are happy that you know you have one tool that to help.
Yes,
Okay, so
wonderful.
see you next time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again, Leonardo. Super helpful.
Enjoy your week.
Yeah, you too. Speak
Bye,
soon.
Carlos.
Bye bye.
Ciao, ciao. Bye.
Ciao. Bye.